Okay, so let's do a video about springy rests. In particular, using springy rests on a recurve or longbow if you can fit them. Recently, I wanted to have a go at using a springy rest. I heard a lot of great things about using it. And I like the fact that a springy rest is kind of all in one. It's a bit of like a plunge, a pseudo plunger button and a rest all in one elevated rest. So I thought I'd make my own. So I came up with this. It's just a 5/16 UNF bolt and a spring which I took from inside a soap dispenser, little pump ones, stainless steel. Epoxied it on there, have a little nut here, which is an acorn nut. I just chop the end off and polish that up. But it allows you to adjust center shot, gives a little bit of forgiveness here, and also holds the arrow and gives a little forgiveness in this direction too. So I thought I'd give it a try first of all, see if I like it. Ordering it from the States can be a bit of a pain. Sometimes you buy a product and the shipping can be several times the price. So I thought, before kind of investing in that, I just want to see if it works to kind of test concept, which is what this was. So I put it up on the forum on Trad Talk and kind of shared some photos on how I built this, which you can go and see if you want to. And lo and behold, somebody on there called Just John, thank you, John, offered to send me an actual springy rest, which he did. So here we have a real springy rest rather than the copy which I made. And very kindly sent this over with a couple of different springs to test out. Silver in £20, and the gold one here is £30. 30 pounds of what, I'm not sure, but there we have it. Different gauges, different thicknesses. Okay, so let's have a thickness test of the one that I made. A little bit of exposed. Okay, so we have 1.1 millimeters. The 20-pound thickness is 0.9 millimeters. And the 30-pound is about 1.2 millimeters. So the one I've actually made thickness-wise is in between those two, strangely enough. But that doesn't necessarily, it could have different tensions. It could have been made differently, different amounts of spring and what have you. So I've taken this off and I'm going to put this springy rest on. Now, I don't know if you're meant to add this first and then remove the screw and then kind of fit it all with it on the bow. I did have a quick play with it, and luckily this is a 2mm Allen key. I think I have inch sizes, and the one I'm gonna try first of all is the 30-pound. Now I'm shooting 46 pounds on the fingers, which is a 30.5 inch draw. Total arrow weight is 570 grains. That's 100 grain insert, 150 grain field tip, so 250 grains up front, 32-inch shaft at a 300 spine carbon arrow. So I think that might be enough to kind of warrant the 30-pound version. One little thing that I did notice is it is a little sensitive to how you seat it, or at least it was on the 20-pound. So what I'm going to do is just, so if I tighten it there, if that's holding the arrow, the front of it will be contacting the arrow. So what I've thought about doing actually is just unscrewing it, kind of holding it at that forward angle, and then doing it back up in that position. I want to make sure that the back of the springy really contacts the arrow as much as possible. So that looks pretty straight on there to me. Now, once I kind of get a good tune, what I'm probably going to go ahead and do is just add a little bit of super glue onto there. It won't be permanent. You could still break it off, but just to give it a little bit more purchase to make sure that screw doesn't undo or it doesn't rotate or move around. It is held on there purely by friction. So that is it. So since I kind of made it already, and I actually do like this nut here that sticks out the back, is a bit more of a taper on it. I'm going to use that. Of course, there'll be the same thread, and also made a little rubber gasket there, a little rubber O-ring or whatever you want to call it. Let's put the springy rest on first. So this is the riser that it's going to go onto. This is a Samick Discovery riser. And so I will be wrapping this with ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, UHMWPE. which is, you know, very strong, very abrasion resistant spectrofiber Dyneema. You get it from the trade names. But apparently this has a bit of a noise to it, which a lot of people dampen down. I've seen some people use a little bit of silicon sealant pressed in there just to kind of dampen the sounds without preventing it from being pressed in. Some people put a little bit of foam or felt in there, that kind of thing. Let's hold it up to my little microphone here and see if we can hear it. So yeah, it has a definite little ring to it. I just want to install this first just to see what it's like. Let's bring it all the way in until it just touches, and then just turn it back to the approximate position it will be in. And put the little O-ring on there. Should actually remove these arrows. The reason I didn't want to install this and then put the spring on is because it was a little bit sensitive to how you install the spring. I thought it'd be easier to do it with it loose than installed. I could be wrong. I believe this is a Pat Norris rest. I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay, so let's place that on there. And I'm going to adjust this so the center line of the arrow is kind of level with the center line of the kind of the body of the rest, if you know what I mean. The center of the burger hole. You get the idea. So that holds it quite neatly. It's quite a short arm. I don't know if it's been trimmed by John or it just comes out like that from the factory. But the one that I have is the one that I made, which has its own buzz to it. It's a little bit too long. I think this cradles the arrow quite nicely. Let's try turning it sideways, see how far it goes before it comes off. So about there. That's pretty impressive though. And let's see what that sounds like pulling that back. Obviously I've got a cap on, but okay. Let's put the microphone next to it. Let's try that. This is going to be loud. Yeah. So you can hear it's quite noisy. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take it off and add some thread to it. Let's just have a look at the center shot, where that is. If I just kind of eyeball it with the string down the center of the bow, on the Samick Discovery, it is dead nuts. It is right in the center of the string. Right in the center of the string. So, although you can probably infinitely adjust this because, you can turn it a little bit and then just undo the little locking screw on the front, the little Allen key one, and then rotate the arm back up. I'm going to keep it where it is, just undo the nut and just rotate it out one full rotation, whatever distance that corresponds to on a 5/16 nut, and then just do it back up finger tight. I'm all new to this. I haven't really got an idea of, not a fair idea of what I'm doing, but so one full rotation has put it so the string is just touching the right hand side of the arrow tip. That's probably where I'm going to start, because once I add a little bit of thread wrapped around there, it's going to just push it out very, very slightly. Not by much, but let's put that back on. Okay, so let's wrap this thing. Now, many ways to skin a cat, but I'm going to use some Dyneema cord. Some people use anything from like D-loop sheathing to shrink wrap, and not shrink wrap, shrink tube. I'm going to use this. This is just simple Dyneema thread, not bowstring or anything, but you could use that. What I'm going to do is just start at the top. A little bit of tension there. I'll just trim that off at a later date, or just melt it. So a little bit of tension on there now. 1, 2, 3. Pull it tight. Squeeze it in. 1, 2, 3. Pull it tight. Squeeze it in. And just keep repeating all the way to the end. That's what I did before, and it seemed to work quite well. Right on the end there, just in the inside, I'm going to add double glue, a bit much. Give it a trim, press that in. Good, so that's on there now. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to test that out on the bow, make sure that it's still holding the arrow okay. And then I'm going to figure out what we're going to put inside there just to stop that ring. Let's see what this sounds like next to the microphone though. It's a lot more muted than it was before, so that's pretty good. And lastly, I'm just going to take a little bit of bowstring wax and then just wax this up. Just helps it not only be a little bit more quiet, but also increases the longevity of the wrap. Just periodically add a little bit of wax to it. And of course, being thread, it will hold it. Let any excess melt in. So just having a look with it installed here, there's a little bit of cushioning, as you can see there. I don't know how much that wrap impacts that, but there's just enough sticking on the side of the arrow there. I could turn that in a bit more. We're just going to see how it goes. I mean, it's these fletchings are actually pretty buggered, as you can see. They need renewing, but I think that's pretty good. So that should add a little bit of forgiveness, much like a plunger button. But it doesn't go in as far as a plunger button. But if your tune is right, it shouldn't really need to. Now, revisiting this one more time, once it's installed, it actually has a bit of a different sound. If you hear this, and let's install some of this closed cell foam, so this shouldn't absorb any water. Okay, so let's try that. Yeah, so just basically just that, just craft foam in what size did I cut this at? 7 millimeters, 7 or 8 millimeters. 8 would just be a bit more compact, but it seems to have done the trick and made it much more quiet. So John recommended to me that I try one weight rest. So like, for example, the 30-pound rest for a week and the 20-pound for another week after that, just to kind of get used to it, which I kind of agree with, and I'm going to honor that. Sometimes, you know, the first few shots, it's not working for you. You have to think to yourself, you know, how about if I work for it a little bit, and it might turn out to be the one. So I'm going to give this a week, then I'm going to switch to the 20-pound spring and see how that works for a week. I mean, if after a couple of days it's pretty obvious there's a big difference, then, you know, we'll see how it goes. So first few shots, I am working on a different anchor at the moment. Instead of coming back to the jaw, I'm going with a higher anchor, which I'm really liking, but I'm still getting used to. So I'm probably going to get used to that for a little bit longer before I bare shaft tune again. But I'll send one down range just to see what happens. But I'm still working on that kind of new form, as it were. Okay. So these are the, well, I took a couple of shots inside, but it echoes in there, so you can't really get a good idea of what it sounds like. But already I can tell it's quieter than the spring that I made. About as quiet as the Hoyt Quiet Track, which does live up to its name. So far liking it. Oh, should have let that shot down. It's a little micro flinch. So let's see where the bare shaft goes. The next two grouped with it. So sorry for the wind noise, guys. I would put this does have a noise cancelling function on this little cheap microphone, but it makes me sound like I'm inside a muffled tin can. So that was my bare shaft. Shooting slightly high, slightly stiff. So thoughts on the real life Springy rest. I like it. I have to say I do like it. It's obviously a better build than the one that I made. And I think it's going to come down to, getting used to new form, first of all. and B, seeing if this spring is too stiff, or it might turn out to be absolutely perfect. So only time will tell. But thank you very much to John from the US for sending this to me. Offered to pay for postage. He didn't let me, so very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to get used to this, see how it goes. And if I find the 20-pound spring works a little bit better, then I'll report so in the comments below or on the forum if you're on the forum too. But thanks for watching. See you in the next video.